Shout out to Diz Fan 9212 who says, how does LSU get a 2 seed based off of their record? How far do you think they will go? And have they found their winning ways? So yes, that is a great segue for us to talk about LSU. Now, thank you so much, Diz Fan, for the super chat, and thanks for the question, because that is a topic that I want to talk about. So the question I have for the group is, should LSU be a number 2 seed when it all comes down to it for the NCAA tournament? And I see an argument for them being a number 2 seed. And I'm going to talk about my argument for that. And then I also, on the other hand, I do see an argument for them to stay at the number 3 seed. So I'm going to first talk about why I think they should be a number 2 seed. And then I'm going to talk about I'm going to poke holes in my argument and talk about why they shouldn't be the number 3 seed. So when you look at a team like LSU, they're a team that has a lot of talent, right? You see the likes of Flau'jae Johnson, Aneesah Morrow, Angel Reese. You have Hailey Van Lith. You have Mikaylah Williams, an amazing freshman. They have a lot of talent. And then on the bench, you have the likes of last year Poa, who can come in and bring some really good minutes. You also have Aalyah Del Rosario, who is looking better and better and better and better and better. For the most part, every single time I see her, she looks better and more comfortable in college. So in terms of the talent on the team, they're a number 2 seed in terms of their talent. And again, I'm gonna poke holes in the exact argument that I'm saying right now in just a sec. So talent wise, very, very good, very, very talented team. Now, when you look at how they played lately, you can see dramatic improvements. Yes, this is a team that lost to Auburn. Yes, this is a team that lost to Mississippi State. Yes, this is the team that did that. This is the team that lost to Colorado. LSU has had some bad losses this season. However, I do believe that lately we have seen this team turn a corner. Could they have turned this corner earlier if they would have played tougher teams? Yes, absolutely. If they didn't play such a easy non-conference schedule, yes, I do think they would have turned the corner sooner. And you saw Angel Reese out for a little bit. You saw players not with the team anymore. But this is a team that is getting it together on the defensive end. And I think that is something that has impressed me lately, is that yes, LSU is winning against teams that they should win against. But it's not just their offensive play, it's their defensive play that I have found pretty impressive. I really have found that to be impressive. Georgia is a good team. There, of course, Georgia is not, the tops of the SEC, but I thought the way that that LSU played defensively, they look good to me. They look like a very good team. They look like a team that is a number 2 seed. Yes. They had the cupcake schedule. Absolutely. And that is an argument that I'm about to poke holes in just a sec. You can absolutely say the fact that this is a team that played teams that they shouldn't have played, right? And this is a team that lost games that they shouldn't have lost. But lately, they look good. So let's look at the last several games for LSU. If we look at them versus Georgia only had 54 points in that game. You look at LSU versus Tennessee only had 60 points in that game. We look at that rematch between Auburn. Auburn did give them a really good challenge, but at the end of the day, LSU was able to make stuff happen. When you look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M only had 58 points against them. Alabama, LSU has had quality wins over the last several games. Now, you can say that these are not against the best of the best teams. And absolutely, you have a point. Absolutely, you have a point. But yeah, I still think lately, if you look at this roster and if you look at how they've been gelling together, not just on the offensive end with Hailey Van Lith just finding her groove on this team. She really has turned the corner and found her groove. Hailey Van Lith has always been an extremely talented player. Like, we saw how great she was at Louisville. Like, that's the question to me was never about Hailey Van Lith's talent. It was about whether or not she could make it work for this team. And it feels like she has. In terms of her being the main point guard, yes, she starts off that way, but it's her and Poa kind of sharing that. In terms of her being able to take care of the ball, she's been doing that. She hasn't really had that many turnovers over the last several games. That's a good thing, right? You see defensively, she's trying a lot more. I feel it seems like she's trying a lot more on the defensive end. When you look at when you look at just overall, not just Hailey Van Lith. Last year, Poa is doing her thing. You also have Flau'jae Johnson, Big Fo, who is just continuing to be a phenomenal player for this team. She doesn't get the amount of respect that she deserves because there just is a lot of star power on this roster. But Big Fo can get in the paint and get some shots up. She can defensively. Big Fo is that defensive player that can guard the best player on the other team. When you look at Aneesah Morrow, who, yes, Aneesah Morrow is from Chicago, so I gotta rep Aneesah Morrow, not just because she's from Chicago, but also Aneesah Morrow is phenomenal. Aneesah Morrow should be in the running for SEC Player of the Year. I don't think she'll win it, but she should be. She should be in the running for that because Aneesah Morrow has been pretty phenomenal in SEC play. And then, of course, you have Angel Reese, who, yes, also should be in that conversation for SEC Player of the Year. Has been pretty great. So yeah, that is something to talk about, right? They are a very, very talented team. Now, so all of that being said, that is sort of my argument for why LSU should be number 2. Also, I do in general, I put LSU over Texas. And so if you want to ask the question of, okay, if they're number 2, who would you replace? I would say I would replace them with Texas. So that is a thing. That is my argument for LSU being a number 2 seed. Now, let's give the argument against them being the number 2 seed. So, first and foremost, when you talk about LSU, the argument against them being the number 2 seed is the fact that they had a cupcake non-conference schedule. That is the argument. That is, to me, one of the biggest arguments against them being able to being able to make that number 2 seed is because of that. So that's my argument against. Okay, they should stay at the number 3 seed because 1, they had a very easy non-conference schedule. 2, they lost 2 games that they should not have lost. 1 against Mississippi State, 1 against Auburn. Both Mississippi State and Auburn, they are good teams. Yes, in terms of their record and whatnot, they're not that great. But in terms of them just sort of like giving teams runs for their money, they look, they look good, right? So the fact that LSU lost to those 2 teams, they lost to South Carolina, but I think that South Carolina game was they played very well in that South Carolina game, and had Angel Reese not been fouled out of that game, who knows? Maybe we would have saw a win. Who knows? Also, if y'all are watching this, if y'all hit that like button, that would be fantastic. We are trying to get to 150 likes for this live stream. yeah, if y'all get that like button, that'd be fantastic. Also, if y'all have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Okay, so we are talking about the argument against LSU making their journey to the number 2 seed. So as I said, cupcake non-conference schedule. Also, the fact that they lost against Mississippi State and Auburn, that's really, really not good. And the fact that this team is just starting to get it together, when you have other teams like a Texas, right, who has been more consistent throughout the year. And so that's my argument against LSU being a number 2 seed. So yeah, I do want to hear what you all have to say about that, because yeah, I could see a scenario where they're number 2, and I can also see an argument against them being number 2. So yeah, let me know in the chat what y'all think about this. Let me know. Audrey says LSU is definitely a number 2 seed when they have good ball movement. I need them to be more consistent. Yeah. Consistency is going to be a thing for this team. Yes, absolutely. JB says, I think if you ask the number 1 seeds if they want to face LSU prior to the Final Four, we know the unanimous answer. Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah, they definitely don't want to face. They definitely don't want to face LSU. Anyway, Nolan says, everyone talking about the bench play is for the regular season. The tournament is where stars shine. Well, I mean, that is fair. But also, if you don't have a bench, that means that like if you get in foul trouble, that's about over for you, you know. Bakari says Reese, Morrow, Van Lith, Mikaylah Williams, and Big Foe are peaking. They are. Yes, Janae. Yes, South Carolina is the number 1. Yep. Bear 24 says, I promise you Mississippi State will win an NCAA game for the tournament. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Again, you know, as I say, anybody can get got. Anybody can win. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? This is all just predictions. Bree Wayne says, also, I think LSU meets Ole Miss in the SEC tournament semis. Yeah, I gotta look at that schedule. But yeah, they likely will be playing Ole Miss. Yep. Yeah, they did beat Virginia Tech. Yep. Yeah, so Mikaylah Williams is a very, very good player. I think that she was huge for this team early on in the season. And lately she hasn't, I mean, she's still been impactful for the team, but she hasn't been as impactful as she was early in the season. I think that's fine. I mean, it's not the biggest of deals. But yeah, I did want to sort of mention that. She does have to be a little bit more consistent for them to make a run. Corinne says Aneesah is a beast. Yes, she is. Absolutely. Aneesah Morrow has been phenomenal for this team. Aubrey says, thank you so much for the super chat, Aubrey. Aubrey says, if the teams ahead of LSU loses, they'll be a number 2 seed. Yes, especially if these conference tournaments shake up and LSU get to their conference championship. Yes, yeah. If LSU can make it to the SEC conference championship game against South Carolina, I think. Yes, that does help to possibly elevate them to that number 2 seed. I think that if LSU does not make it to the SEC Conference Championship, they are not moving to the number 2 spot. But if they do, and if we see, some of the other teams not make it to their respective conference championship, in the tournament, I think that'll affect some stuff. I think that'll for sure affect some stuff. Dion, thanks so much for super chat, Dion. Dion says, what's going on? Quita, appreciate the content. You're my number 1 go-to for women's basketball. And of course, Dion is a Tigers fan. Dion says, I'm happy they're ranked low so they can play with a chip. #most hated. All right. I mean, having a chip on your shoulder does help The idea that everyone's out to get you and you need to show up and really destroy the competition. Like that is a thing. That is a thing that I'm sure Kim Mulkey is telling them, they don't expect y'all to be good. They've been talking about y'all all season. Now let's show them what we all about. That's for sure a thing. For sure a thing.